The negotiation chamber aboard the Dominion flagship, Eternal Mandate, was a place designed to humble visitors. Its cavernous expanse, lined with glowing runes of alien authority, hummed with an air of dominion. The walls shimmered faintly, displaying holographic projections of the Galactic Dominion's conquests, burning worlds, subdued species, and fleets stretching into infinity. Standing at its center, surrounded by the towering forms of alien diplomats, was Captain Elias Grant, the sole human representative. The arbiter of the Galactic Dominion, Vornak, loomed before him, his elongated, crystalline form exuding an aura of cold disdain. His multifaceted eyes regarded the human with an expression that blended curiosity with contempt. "Captain Grant," Vornak intoned, his voice resonating like a series of grinding stones, "your species is but a recent addition to the galactic stage. Fragile, naive. What gives you the audacity to deny the Dominion's will?" Grant's eyes scanned the chamber. He stood out in stark contrast to the grandeur around him, his Earth-standard diplomatic uniform plain functional. Yet there was steel in his gaze, a defiance that no ornate armor or gleaming weapon could replicate. "Arbiter Vornak," Grant began, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "humanity has always sought peace. We have no desire for conflict with your Dominion. But if you believe that makes us weak, I am here to correct that miscalculation." A ripple of amusement passed through the alien counselors seated in their elevated positions. Their forms varied in alien, some chitinous, others amorphous, a few radiating energy. The idea of humanity, a species so young and technologically outclassed, standing against the Dominion was, to them, an absurdity. "You misunderstand your position," Vornak said, gesturing with a clawed appendage. A holographic display materialized, showcasing the latest Dominion assault, a human colony reduced to ashes. "Your colonies fall like wheat before the scythe. Your fleets are scattered, your people fractured. Submit now, and we may yet allow your species to survive as a vassal state." Grant clenched his jaw, his fists tightening at his sides. The image of the colony, once a thriving settlement, brought a flash of memory. Children playing in sunlit fields, families building a future among the stars. Now all of it was gone, erased by the unyielding march of the Dominion. "You misunderstand our position," Grant replied, his voice sharper now. He stepped forward, defying the unspoken boundary between himself and the arbiter. "Humanity does not submit. We've faced extinction before, plagues, wars, cataclysms of our own making, and we have endured. Every time, we've risen stronger. You think us fractured? You think us weak? That's where you've made your first mistake." The chamber fell silent. The alien counselors, accustomed to groveling in fear from lesser species, were caught off guard by the human's audacity. Even Vornak seemed momentarily taken aback, his crystalline form flickering faintly as he processed Grant's defiance. "And your second mistake," Grant continued, his tone rising, "is believing that we will fight this war on your terms. Humanity doesn't fight fair. We innovate. We adapt. We overcome." Vornak's crystalline eyes narrowed, a low, resonating hum filling the chamber as his displeasure grew. "You speak as if your species has already achieved victory. Hubris is a dangerous flaw. Human." Grant leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm. "This isn't hubris. It's a warning. If you want war, we will give you war. But don't expect it to end the way you think." The arbiter's laughter was a sharp, grating sound, echoed by the alien counselors. "You are a singularly amusing creature, Captain Grant. But your words carry no weight here. Leave this chamber. Prepare your people for their inevitable extinction." Grant's eyes locked with Vornak's, unflinching. "I'll leave, Arbiter. But don't say you weren't warned." With that, Grant turned and strode toward the chamber's exit, the oppressive presence of the alien council bearing down on him with every step. The doors hissed open, revealing the cold expanse of space beyond the flagship's viewport. As he departed, the alien council erupted into debate. "Arbiter, One of the counselors, a pulsating mass of bioluminescent tendrils, spoke. Should we not destroy their homeworld now, before they grow troublesome? Vornak raised a clawed hand to silence the council. No, let them scurry in the dirt a little longer. Their defiance amuses me. Besides, a display of their destruction must serve as an example to others. Unbeknownst to the council, aboard his transport ship, Grant activated a secure communication channel. This is Captain Grant. The negotiations have failed. Mobilize the fleets. It's time humanity showed the galaxy what we're capable of. As his ship departed the Dominion flagship, Earth's distant blue glow shimmered on the horizon. It was a fragile-looking world, a speck in the vastness of the galaxy. But it was a world that had birthed a species unlike any other, a species that had just been handed a reason to unify, innovate, and fight like never before. The Arbiter and his council dismissed humanity as a minor nuisance, unaware that they had just awoken a giant. The sprawling command center of Earth's strategic defense network was a hive of activity. Beneath the reinforced dome of Olympus Command, the most advanced war room humanity had ever constructed, a vast array of holographic displays flickered with activity. Battle maps stretched across the room, depicting the territories of the Galactic Dominion, their fleets, and projected invasion routes. Hundreds of personnel, from grizzled veterans to young tactical prodigies, moved with purpose. At the center of it all stood Admiral Jonathan Hayes. Admiral Hayes was a man of unyielding resolve, his weathered face marked by years of service. A scar stretched across his right cheek, a reminder of the Mars Rebellion, when he had stood against insurmountable odds and triumphed. Now, he faced a foe unlike any before. The Dominion's fleet was vast, its resources seemingly endless. Yet Hayes knew one undeniable truth. Humanity had always turned adversity into opportunity. Their arrogance will be their undoing, Hayes muttered to himself, studying the Dominion fleet's formation. His voice carried a calm intensity, like the eye of a storm. Standing beside him was Commander David Lynn, a tactical savant with a reputation for unconventional strategies. Lynn's sharp eyes scanned the data streaming across the holograms. Admiral, the Dominion has underestimated us. Their projections assume we'll engage them head-on, trying to match their numbers. We can't do that. Hayes nodded. Correct. We won't fight their war. We'll fight ours. He turned to the gathered officers. Listen closely. The Dominion believes this will be a conventional war. They'll send their fleets to crush our defenses, expecting us to fold under pressure. But humanity doesn't fight fair. We'll hit them where it hurts, using every tool at our disposal. Technology, strategy, and sheer determination. The room fell silent as the Admiral's words sank in. Then Hayes continued, his voice steady and commanding. Begin Operation Iron Resolve. Activate the shadow fleets. Mobilize every orbital platform and prepare the strike teams. We'll turn the void itself into a weapon. If the Dominion wants war, we'll give them a war they'll never forget. Within hours, the gears of humanity's war machine were in motion. Across Earth and its colonies, factories roared to life, churning out weapons, ships, and advanced combat suits. Engineers worked around the clock, adapting human ingenuity to meet the overwhelming power of the Dominion. In deep space, hidden shipyards activated for the first time in decades, deploying experimental vessels armed with cutting-edge technology. Among the projects was the Tempest Initiative, a clandestine program designed to harness artificial intelligence for combat. At its core was Echo, an advanced AI that could coordinate fleets, predict enemy movements, and execute maneuvers with precision no human could match. Echo's voice, calm and mechanical, resonated throughout the command centers. Admiral Hayes, preliminary simulations indicate a 28% success rate in conventional engagements. Utilizing asymmetric warfare tactics, the probability of victory increases to 67%. Hayes smirked. Then we'll make it 100%. Meanwhile, on the front lines, the soldiers of humanity prepared for battle. Among them was Sergeant Marcus Kane, a seasoned infantryman who had seen his fair share of conflicts. Kane stood with his squad, inspecting their new gear, a blend of traditional human ingenuity and alien technology salvaged from previous skirmishes. "Look at this," Kane said, holding up a plasma rifle with a grin. "Who would have thought we'd be using their toys against them?" Private Cole, the youngest in the squad, chuckled nervously. "Think it'll be enough?" Kane clapped him on the shoulder. "It'll have to be. And don't forget, these Dominion types think they're invincible. That's their weakness. We hit them fast, hit them hard, and they'll never see it coming." As the soldiers suited up, speeches from Earth's leaders echoed across the networks, broadcast to every corner of human-controlled space. "This is not just a war for survival," one voice declared. "It is a war for our right to exist as free beings. Humanity will not kneel. We will rise." Far from Earth, in the shadowy expanse of space, Captain Elias Grant's transport ship docked with the Indomitable, a prototype battleship and the flagship of humanity's resistance. The Indomitable was unlike any ship ever built, its sleek design and advanced weaponry representing the pinnacle of human innovation. Grant stepped onto the bridge, greeted by the ship's commander, Captain Roland Drake, a man known for his calm under fire. "Grant," Drake said with a nod, "I hear your negotiations didn't go so well." Grant smirked. "Let's just say the Arbiter and I have different definitions of diplomacy." Drake's expression turned serious. "Well, you've given us a chance to do what we do best. The fleets are mobilizing, and the Dominion won't know what hit them." Grant walked to the command console, his gaze falling on the holographic map of the galaxy. "They think we're weak. They think we'll crumble. But they've forgotten one thing." Drake raised an eyebrow. "And what's that?" Grant's eyes burned with determination. "Humanity doesn't break. We endure. We adapt. And when the time comes, we strike." The first skirmishes began soon after. Human strike teams, using stealth ships and guerrilla tactics, struck at Dominion supply lines, crippling their logistics. In one daring raid, a squad led by Sergeant Kane infiltrated a Dominion outpost, stealing vital data on fleet movements. "Got it," Kane shouted as explosions rocked the facility. "Time to go." The team sprinted to their extraction point, dodging Dominion patrols and suppressing fire. As their transport ship lifted off, Cole looked back at the burning outpost, a newfound fire in his eyes. "Did we really just pull that off?" he asked. Kane grinned. "Kid, this is just the beginning." Admiral Hayes stood aboard the Indomitable, watching as the first reports of humanity's counterattacks came in. The Dominion was caught off guard, their fleet scrambling to respond. Hayes turned to Lynn, a rare smile breaking through his usual stoic demeanor. "It's working," Hayes said. Lynn nodded, though his expression remained focused. "For now. But this is just the opening act. The real test will come when the Dominion brings their full force to bear." Hayes' gaze hardened. "Let them come. By the time they realize what we're capable of, it'll be too late." The stage was set. Humanity, once dismissed as insignificant, had mobilized with a fury that no one, least of all the Galactic Dominion, could have anticipated. The warning had been given. Now, it was time to fight. The void of space erupted with fire and fury. The Dominion's armada, a formation of towering warships glinting with alien alloy, advanced toward Earth's defensive lines. At first glance, their overwhelming size and firepower seemed an unstoppable tide, but they had underestimated their opponent. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, his eyes fixed on the tactical display hovering before him. The Dominion ships were deploying in a wedge formation, their shields humming with energy as they prepared to break through Earth's orbital defenses. Hayes tapped the command console, magnifying the fleet. "They're coming right into the kill zone," he said, his voice a calm rumble. Commander Lynn nodded beside him. "As expected, they believe brute force will win this battle. They haven't yet realized they're walking into a trap." Hayes turned to the communications officer. "Signal the fleet. Phase 1 begins now. Across the void, humanity's fleet sprang into action. Cloaked stealth ships that had been lying in wait suddenly decloaked, striking like wolves among the Dominion's formation. Torpedoes screamed through the darkness, detonating against alien hulls in violent bursts of plasma. The Dominion's wedge faltered as smaller human ships wove between the massive cruisers, exploiting weaknesses in their defensive grids. The Dominion command vessel, a massive dreadnought bristling with weaponry, responded with brutal efficiency. Its cannons fired beams of energy that sliced through the void, obliterating one of the human stealth ships in a single hit. But Admiral Hayes had anticipated this. Echo, adjust strike team's formation to counter the dreadnought's firing arcs. Hayes commanded. Echo's mechanical voice responded instantly. Adjusting. Calculations complete. Strike teams are rerouting. On board the stealth frigate Black Talon, Sergeant Marcus Kane led his fire team in a critical mission. The frigate weaved through the chaos, dodging Dominion fire as Kane prepared his squad for a daring boarding operation. Listen up, Kane barked. Our target is the dreadnought's power core. We get in, plant the charges, and get out. No heroics. Understood? The team responded with affirmatives, their expressions a mix of fear and determination. Private Cole, now more seasoned from the earlier skirmishes, tightened his grip on his rifle. The Black Talon slammed into the dreadnought's hull with a shuddering impact, its boarding tubes locking into place. Kane led the charge as the airlocks opened, his squad pouring into the Dominion vessel. The alien corridors were dimly lit, their surfaces slick with an organic-like material. Resistance was immediate. Dominion soldiers, towering beings with insectoid features, opened fire, their plasma rifles cutting through the air. Take cover, Kane shouted, returning fire. His squad moved with precision, their training evident as they advanced methodically. Minutes turned to what felt like hours as the team pushed deeper into the ship. Kane's HUD blinked with a notification. The power core was close. He raised a fist, signaling the team to halt. There, he whispered, pointing to a massive chamber ahead. The core pulsed with a sickly green light, surrounded by an intricate network of conduits. Plant the charges, Kane ordered. As his team moved to set the explosives, the ship trembled violently. The Dominion was aware of their presence, and reinforcements were closing in. Cole finished arming the last charge and looked to Kane. All set, Sarge. Fall back to the extraction point. Kane commanded. The retreat was chaotic. The Dominion reinforcements swarmed the corridors, forcing the team to fight every step of the way. Explosions echoed in the distance as other human strike teams carried out their missions, adding to the chaos aboard the massive vessel. As the team reached the airlock, Kane activated his comm. This is Kane. Charges are set. Get us out of here. The Black Talon detached from the dreadnought, just as the charges detonated. The explosion rippled through the massive vessel, its core going critical. A brilliant flash illuminated the void as the dreadnought was torn apart, sending shockwaves through the Dominion fleet. On the Indomitable, Admiral Hayes watched the destruction unfold. That's one less dreadnought to worry about, he said grimly. Lynn pointed to the tactical display. The Dominion fleet is breaking formation. They're disoriented. Now's the time to press the attack. Hayes nodded. Signal all ships. Phase 2 is a go. Engage at will. Humanity's fleet surged forward, their coordinated assault exploiting every weakness in the Dominion's lines. Orbital defense platforms, armed with railguns capable of piercing even the strongest shields, unleashed a barrage of fire. Fighter squadrons darted through the fray, their pilots executing maneuvers that defied belief. One such pilot was Lieutenant Aaron Vance, flying a prototype fighter equipped with experimental energy weapons. Vance's voice crackled over the comms as he called out targets to his wingmen. Stick to the plan, boys. We keep their fighters busy while the heavies take out their cruisers. Vance's fighter spiraled through a swarm of Dominion interceptors, his weapons carving a path through the enemy ships. Behind him, A Dominion cruiser exploded as a human battleship delivered a devastating broadside. As the battle raged, Captain Elias Grant led a diplomatic strike on the Dominion's central command post. Unlike the chaos of the fleet engagements, this operation relied on subterfuge and precision. Grant's team infiltrated the Dominion command station, disabling its communication relays and sowing confusion among the enemy ranks. Grant's voice was calm as he relayed the final step of the plan to Hayes. "Admiral, their command network is down. They're blind." Hayes responded, his voice tinged with satisfaction. "Good work, Grant. You've just tipped the scales." The tide of battle shifted irrevocably. The Dominion's fleet, once an unstoppable force, was now in full retreat. Ships that had once inspired terror were reduced to smoldering wreckage, scattered across the battlefield. Humanity had struck back with a vengeance, proving that they were far from the helpless prey the Dominion had assumed. Admiral Hayes stood silently on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching as the surviving Dominion ships jumped to hyperspace. He knew this was only the beginning. "Victory today," he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "But the war is far from over." Lynn stepped beside him. "They'll come back. Stronger." Hayes nodded. "And so will we." Across Earth and its colonies, humanity celebrated. But beneath the cheers and relief lay a steely determination. They had sent a message to the galaxy. Humanity would not bow, and if the Dominion returned, they would face an even fiercer resistance.